Namaste, everyone. This is going to be a yogic set for healing the heart. So we're going to declog the heart chakra. Okay. So the weight of our lives is the weight of our heart. This is an ancient Egyptian karmic scale. The weight of our heart is the weight of our lives. So a lot of times we are taught to just shove your emotions to the side. You gotta keep moving, you gotta keep moving. So what that does is it creates a buildup. Okay? It's like we keep dumping our emotions into the cave. We did it when we're 5, we did it when we're 7, we did it when we're 12. By the time we're 45, our cave has this huge pile of emotions and it's like sky high and you can't even walk into the cave to see the crystals or the gems because it's piled up with emotions. And a lot of times emotions can be associated with disorganization, such as hoard houses. Because naturally, we as humans are not meant to be build up. Okay? We're not to be a piled up cave of just all of this emotion. We have a very sophisticated system of circulating, of renewing ourselves. But we have resistance. Okay? We have resistance. And that is, we associate negative emotions through judgment. Judgment is the great resistance of our lives. It is the great block to our intuition. It is the great delay and dilemma of following through on our heart. Judgment. We judge our grief. We judge our shame. We judge our disappointment. We judge our feelings of failure. We judge our past. We judge our mistakes. We judge everything. And when we judge it, it creates this tension. This tension where we're gripping onto a position within ourselves. So as you can see, elder people, for example, you see them kind of walking and they're walking like kind of like wanky. Their hips are way out of alignment. Their shoulders are way out. Their neck is way out of alignment. Their back is like way out of alignment. Is because they grip to a position. Okay, a position of judgment. Judgment towards themselves or judgment towards others. And when we grip onto anything whatsoever within our physical body, with emotions, which is our body, when we grip onto any sort of position due to our inability to let the stuff flow, what happens is, we get built up. And over time, the fear of your heart turns into Frumpty Dumpty. Like some old people. They have been mute for so many years in articulating their heart that slowly their shoulders started to get over until they're like this, where their heart is completely locked. Okay? So that's the same thing that goes with a lot of our expressions. We have an inability to express our creativity, our hips are probably going to be very tight, man or woman, because our hips represent, just like dance and just like jazz, anything really, hips is basically connected to the birth canal. It's connected to our liberation. We liberate our lives through the hips. So when we have judged ourselves, judged our creativity, judged our self-expression, basically our hips will get positioned in probably a very stiff, a tense position. That means our hips are going to be very brittle. So think of movement as health, think of movement as we're lubricating ourselves. Movement is like we're lubricating our mind. Okay, we're creating this looseness. Okay, we're taking away that angles that are just jabbed into each other. We're creating that lubricant in between so things can kind of just begin to even out and kind of smooth out. We want to smooth out our emotions. okay? Not our whole life, okay? So for this particular set, we're gonna be seated and you can just follow me, okay? So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna have our hand on our heart. So just place your left hand over your heart. So you wanna place it like right on the center, okay? Right in the center of the chest where you see that sternum, right in between your breast, your chest, okay? And I want you to imagine that there is a tiny gem. Okay, this is the inner heart, the inner chamber. So the heart has, I like to see like 4 chambers. And then you have this little inner gem, kind of like you can see it out like a pearl. And that is what we call that rose quartz. So in the outer, okay, you can see it like the outer lily pads are green, okay, dark green, seaweed green, emerald green. But in the center, kind of like the center of that rosebud, is a little rose quartz crystal. So it's tiny, okay, it's a little tiny thing. It's like a little tiny thing. So I want you to visualize that you're pressing your palm into that. You're like almost like you're also pressing your shoulders back. Through pressing into your heart, you're also like creating like this this force that's pushing your shoulders back to create more space, okay? And just you can place your right hand over your left like this. My chin is tucked in, and we're just gonna do some breath through the mouth. So I'm pumping my navel, as you can see. So it's as though pumping, pumping, pumping. So activating that belly button, okay? So keep going. I really want you to feel like you're bringing prana into your heart chambers, okay? So there's like 4 chambers, and then we have this this rose quartz crystal in the center. And visually very much like we call it sacred geometry of nature, that there's this spiraling energy, and you're getting into the spiraling energy, and it's spiraling like a funnel. Okay, it's getting a tighter circle, tighter circle, tighter circle as you get deeper and deeper and deeper into your heart chamber until you get to the deepest part of that heart chamber, which is where you find that little rose quartz gem crystal, very much like a pearl. That is your innocence. That is your unconditional love, your capacity to hold high levels of compassion. So really just breathe, bring in that prana, and really carve out that shape, okay? So carve out that shape, that spiraling funnel. It's large, large, and getting smaller, getting tighter, 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 to get all the way into that depth of the chamber. Now, really powerful. So you're going into the cave of your heart, okay? And you're really carving out that shape of that spiral, like sacred geometry, or visualize a white rose. Literally, you're looking into a white rose. When you look into a white rose, you see that spiraling like a funnel, and the spiraling is getting tighter and tighter and tighter until it goes all the way down the stem of the rose. And the stem of the rose that gets into the ground is the spine, and the roots is the perineum, okay, that grounds into the earth. So really go into that cave like you're going into that rosebud. You're visualizing that sacred geometry, that spiraling funnel energy getting tighter, tighter, tighter as you go all the way down the stem. And just before you go down the stem, you see a rose crystal right before you go down the spine or go down the stem of the rose. So keep going. When I say inhale, you're going to imagine that your spine is a stem, your heart is a rose, white rose. Inside that, just in the center of that spiraling geometry, is a rose quartz. The perineum is roots connected to Mother Earth. And when I say inhale, you're going to pull nutrients up from the earth, from the roots, okay, from the roots. You're going to squeeze it up like a zipper, and you're going to zip up that nutrients up the spine, up the stem of your rose, and then you're going to allow the nutrients to be like dew or nectar or honey, and it's going to get into the petals of, almost, it's going to lubricate, you could say lubricate the petals of your rosebud, giving nectar, honey, nutrients to the many layers, the many petals of your flower, of your heart chamber, giving nutrients, nectar, honey, sweetness to that pink rose quartz crystal, right in the depth of your heart. Inhale through the mouth, sip up air, sipping it up, zipping it up, that nutrients, the spine, squeeze up mullabandha, sex organ, rectum, navel, belly button, spine, squeeze and really pull up and in the nutrients from the roots, up the stem of the spine, up, all the way to the heart, and then allow the nectar, the honey, to be like dew and like lubricate the petals of your heart. Press the tongue on the upper palate, hold the breath. Squeeze the nutrients up from the soil, up the spine, the stem, up into the flower like nectar. Make your heart like nectar. Make your heart like nectar. Exhale, inhale. Squeeze. Press the tongue on the upper palate. Squeeze. Exhale. Inhale. Squeeze. Now really open up that flower. Look into the depth of your heart. Look at the rose crystal. Exhale. Okay. So just take a moment to relax. You're gonna feel something, some heat, okay, some healing power from the palms. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna have our hands like this. So kind of like I'm grabbing the elbows, but we're gonna do this in the back, so behind us, okay, like this. So really grab the elbows, okay. So what this does is you can see that my shoulders are rolled back and my chest is inclined to be open instead of closed. So when our heart is ahead of our head, okay, it's leading our head, basically we have very much like a lion, we have a courage to our movement. Okay, when our head is like a duck and it's like way out here, usually we use our thinking to resolve our lives. But when our chin's tucked in and our heart is very much kind of like the first thing you see, when first thing someone sees when you walk into the door, basically you're like a lion and you're announcing, I'm here, I don't need to say anything to command leadership over my life. That's the sovereignty of the heart. The thinking, all it does is lead to more thinking, and nobody follows a real endless thinker. They follow the commanding sovereign leadership that is the heart. So long, deep breathing through the nose. And you can really even see my chest. You see how my chest is like expanding with each breath? It's like it's getting wider and then it's contracting, expanding, and contracting. That's what you should feel, as though your breath is becoming almost like a cosmic heartbeat. So what this position does is it really puts the breath into the chest, out of like the belly and into the chest. So I'd like to say our heart chamber is a diamond, kind of like when you say you got first base, second base, third base, home, kind of like that, we call baseball, softball. So think of it nibble to nibble, okay, and then throat to navel is a diamond. So can you visualize that on your body? From the nibble, I'm going to say left nibble to the throat, throat to the right nibble, and then left and right nibble down into the navel. So I'll show you, okay? You see? Very much like a diamond. You see that diamond? Okay, create that diamond. Really kind of create those lines. Create those angles. See those angles, that diamond, okay? Very much first, second, third, fourth, home base, okay? So see it as you, the father, okay? You have the mother, you have the child, and you have the angel. So the father is, we could say, the navel, okay? The mother is very much the throat, okay? And then we have the left nibble, which is closest to the heart, represents the child. And then the right nibble, okay, the close, our heart expressed out to the world, okay, that represents the angel, okay. So those are the 4 chambers of the heart, and then right in the center of your diamond is we call a pink rose crystal. So really focus on creating that diamond from throat to nibbles, nibbles to the navel. So the father gives us the energy, okay? We call it determination, stamina, endurance, all these kinds of things, which is the navel, the point of our vitality, okay? Like the furnace, we need the furnace lit, we need energy. And then the throat represents the mother. So the throat is our expression. It is an expression of our heart through language, through communication, through contact, sharing, including others. So when we think of community, we always think of the mother. She's the one that is in constant communication with the community. She's learning, she's sharing, she's including people, she's asking questions. That is the mother. The child is the observer. The child lives close to home, which is the heart. Why does the child live close to home, the heart? Because the child represents very much the unconscious, okay? The unconscious of which is their niches and their talents, their personality, their character. That's the child gets to experience all of that, their niche in life. So keep breathing long and deep. You should feel your chest expanding and contracting. If it's not, you're not doing it right. Literally, you should feel like your breasts are getting farther apart and then coming closer together. And then the right nimble is the angel. So when we express ourselves out to the world, literally when you turn to the right, your heart is facing the right, it's facing the world. When you turn to the left, your heart is facing away from the world, it's facing behind you. So when you turn this way, it's like, hello, your heart, which is on the left side, is hello, world. When you turn to the left, it's like I want to retreat from the world. So hello, world, I need to retreat from the world when you twist. So right twist, hello, world. Left twist, I'm retreating from the world. I want to go in a cave or solitude. That's the heart. But the angel's in the left, the right nimble for a reason, because the angel wants us to express our angel self in the world. The angel's helping us to be able to express our heart. We need courage. We need help in order to really feel comfortable in expressing our unconscious self, our niche, our talents, our personality. We need a guide. We need a teacher. We need a shaman to really be secure in our ability to communicate our heart in a way that is going to serve ourselves and serve other people. So the angel's like that voice of reason that kind of whispers into our ear, kind of to help us make the best decisions when it comes to matters of the heart, when it comes to dignity, integrity, and remaining true to our heart. So the angel helps us to remain true to our heart. So when we communicate ourselves to the world, we're still close to our heart. We're not so far away from our heart that we've gone so far off track. Okay? Inhale through the nose. Hold, squeeze up mula bandha, chin tucked in, tongue on the upper palate. Open the chest, feel your breast wide. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And relax. So we tuck in the mula bandha, we press belly button to spine, we pull up, the sex organ, rectum, navel, where everybody's getting kind of squeezing up, like you're, squeezing through a straw, or you're zipping up the energy, or you're pulling nutrients from the roots into the stem, so that we can create a channel. Okay, so when we pull everything, we're really directing the energy to where we want to go. So if we want it to go to the heart, that channel, we can really squeeze everything and like literally direct it. So all of that energy of the furnace, the navel, can direct to the heart for immense transformation. But if our energy is just kind of like all over the place, that energy is kind of unproductive. It needs to be channeled. It can be very powerful, almost very powerful when the energy is moving through a channel instead of just kind of all over the place. Moving through a channel, squeezing, and then directing it towards an intention such as the heart. It could be the crown, whatever it is, immense healing. And there it goes. So you create this almost like you're swaddling that heart with all of this warm energy. And that's kind of how we really heal through that heat. Okay? So the next thing we're going to do, you can shake out your legs if you want to. Kind of, we've been sitting. So kind of like shake out the knees so nothing gets kind of stiff in the lower body. So what we're going to do is we're going to come into position. I have a pillow because I'm going to use the pillow for this position. So I'm kind of like, you can see I'm sitting. I'm not sitting all the way down where my butt is like hammering into the floor, but I can feel a gentle press, okay? So they're about just further apart than the hips, okay? It's like a second position. And I'm going to have my hands kind of in a backward. So you can't really see, but they're very much, my palms or my wrists are facing away from me. And my fingers are towards me. You can see my chest is kind of pressed in between my thighs. I'm just going to breathe through my nose. So keep going. So what this does is it creates heat in the thighs. So we're creating a lot of heat in the thighs as well as in the hips, okay? So we can circulate that energy throughout our entire system. You can see my neck is still long. I'm not like doing this. It's long. Inhale. Bend the knees. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Just a couple long deep breaths. I'll show you from the side. Make sure that your shoulders and your wrists are directly on top of each other. Your shoulders are directly on top of your wrists. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. And come seated again. So you feel a burn in your thighs. That one's actually quite difficult because it creates such a rapid heat in the thighs. So you'll feel it, okay? So what we're going to do, so I'm seated on my pillow for support, okay? So this is kind of what we call kind of an awkward position, but we're gonna work with it. So I'm gonna tilt it a little bit down so you can see this position. Okay, so I'm seated on the pillow. Okay, so for a little elevation, because we're going to be on like a downward slope, so we don't want it to be like seated kind of like far back. Okay, so, and I'm grabbing from, you can say the curve in the foot. Kind of like I'm grabbing that curve in the foot. Okay, see that? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna open the back of the heart. Okay, which is in the back. And what we're gonna do, just like a little forward and back. And your chin is tucked in. So you want to create elongation in the back of the neck. Okay, so chin is really tucked in. So the back of the neck is very long. Deep breath. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. Inhale. Exhale. So you can come up. So yeah, you definitely feel opening in the hips. And you can bring your knees together like this. Okay, you can like squeeze them into your chest. So I'm kind of like seated on my little pillow. Just take a few breaths in this position. You can even grab your elbows if you can to really pull your knees into your chest. This is also opening up the back. Now drop your head into your knees. And long, deep breathing through the nose. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, come forward. Come seated. So you'll feel both opening in the front and both opening in the back. So this even sort of push and pull between the back, which is about thinking about the past, and the heart, which is about thinking about the future. So we don't want to dwell in the past and be too nostalgic and sentimental about our past relationships. And we don't want to be so far ahead in the future where we're already like mapping out our marriage and our kids and like thinking about 10 years from now. We want to have this nice push and pull between thinking of marriage or children or whatever love experience you want to have, and the pull in the back of nostalgia and thinking about past relationships and that kind of thing. We don't want to be stuck in one or the other. We want to have this nice kind of this sway of energy, kind of like a tree. It just kind of sways. It's not permanently there or kind of set in that. Okay. So just take a moment. This is more of a gentle yogic set. It's kind of a gentle releasing of anything we have. So what we're going to do, just 3 minutes of a nostril breath. Okay, so I have my thumb, and I use my middle finger, kind of like this. And I press it, thumb, so I'm using my right hand. Thumb over right nostril, middle ring finger over left nostril. I have my 2 fingers over the space between my eyebrows. So this breath is very oceanic. You want to create an oceanic rhythm, okay, inside of you. You want to create that pattern of ocean inside of your breath, okay, your prana. So if you have a neurotic breath, your breath is probably very sharp. You probably leak a lot of breath, meaning like you lose a lot of energy if you have a neurotic pranic pattern. So what we want to do is we want to code that pranic pattern with ocean. So ocean is very rhythmic, meaning the ocean doesn't just spill out all of its, its prana and then kind of gets depleted and then kind of, doesn't have any more energy left for the day or for the month, okay? It has such a push and a pull that is very even, okay? It's a very even breath. That's why the ocean has been here for billions of years, because it has a nice rhythm to it. It has a nice heartbeat to it. Just like our own heartbeat. If our heartbeat was like our breath or like our tongue, how neurotic and just sharp and just exhausted, our heart would give out probably within 5 years. If it was very much kind of like our pranic sharpness and our heart would totally give out between that whatever breath that we're like that panicky, okay? So this will help us to get into a nice oceanic rhythm so we can install it in our pranic body, and that's what's going to give our heart more of that we call backward and forward, side to side, instead of I'm way in the back or I'm too far ahead. So inhale through the right nostril, hold the breath, press the tongue on the upper palate, squeeze up Mula Bandha, really channel that energy from the basement of the roots all the way up the stem, the spine, channel it. Okay, channel it all the way up into, we call that the space between the eyes. Okay, we can talk about that pituitary and pineal gland. Okay, you're putting the direction through your hands, concentration. The fingers concentrating the energy at the pituitary gland, at the pineal gland. Okay. So you hold the breath, you close the nostril, you squeeze up Mula Bandha as though you're zipping up the energy. Literally visualize you're zipping up the Sushmana, which is the central channel, pushing up nutrients through the stem, through the heart, through the throat, through the brain, all the way into that space between the eyebrows. And then you exhale and you allow the energy to kind of just draw back like the ocean. Okay, let it be slow, let it be steady, let it kind of just drop into your body, drop into the roots, as though you're dropping in to the ground, like you're literally dropping into the ground gently. And then repeat the whole cycle. So zipping up, squeezing all of that nutrients, directing it towards the pituitary gland. Hold as for as long as much energy you can zip up, squeeze up, direct, put it into that area. And then slowly just let the energy just kind of fall like a leaf, gliding, falls into the ground, it decomposes, it gets into the ground, it gets into the soil, and it gets deeper and deeper and deeper into the soil. Okay, and repeat. Inhale, hold the breath very long as you can. Really open the chest, roll the shoulders back. This is your time to put the prana into your chest, magnetize the heart chakra through the prana. You have magnetic life force through your prana. Now really direct it through the opening of the breasts, through the opening of the chest, through the shoulders rolling back, through the dignity, very held, very reverently, very regally. Put that prana into your rose, into the white rose, into the rose quartz. Press the tongue on the upper palate and visualize at the tip of your tongue that you are seeding and pushing a roots, a stem up through your brain, and then out of the top of the crown is a flower. It is another white rose. Exhale. Inhale, chest is very wide, very stretched. You should feel very reverent, very regal, very confident in your ability to shine, beam out of your heart. Breathe in through both nostrils, a deep, powerful breath. Tuck in the chin so the energy doesn't escape out of the heart or leak into some other place. Really visualize the tongue, press on the upper palate that you're pushing up through the top of the palate, up through the brain, a stem, okay, roots, a stem, and then at the top of the head you have a sprouting, blooming white rose. Visualize it, focus. Exhale. Last time to really focus, concentrate, project it, make it real, reality. Your chest should be so big. It should feel like your chest is inflated like a balloon. It should be so big. You should have so much space in your chest. It's not even funny. Exhale. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let the shoulders just come back to its natural neutral position. Let it go. 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 You feel your chest getting back to a neutral position. It's not too out there in the world where it's too much, and it's not too far in the shadows where nobody knows what's going on. It has a neutral. It's expressing itself, but it's not expressing too much, and it's not hiding away from the world either. It's introvert, it's extrovert at the same time. It has a nice even scale. Just a long deep breath through the nose. So what we're going to do is we're going to have our hands outstretched like this, almost like we're going to visualize we have bird wings. And our hands are not doing any sort of mudra. Our hands are just like cups. So you see this cup, it's nothing rigid or tight. It's very loose. Like your palms naturally do a cup shape. You don't need to actually do it. Just let it kind of be what it is. So you see like these bird wings, and I'm almost kind of like twisting my elbows towards the front. So elbows, if they're out like towards the back, I'm kind of like twisting the elbows towards the front. So what this really does is it creates a rotation that even creates an even deeper opening in the heart. Okay. We're going to do breath of fire, and we're going to really focus on pumping the navel and turning on that we could like to say that stove light. Turn on that stove light, turn on that furnace, that fire, and really push that energy through the channel, direct it through the sushmana, and really direct it into the heart. So visualize that your hands are very much the channels of you could say the Ida and Pingala. You can call it like that masculine, that feminine, that raw, that ma channel, okay? Where we're taking in from the left hand, you could say you're taking in the ma energy. So you're taking in nutrients, soulfulness, ecstasy, mysticism, and then the right hand, you can see you're taking in endurance, structure, discipline. You require both. And then the sushmana is like that gas stove. You lit it, you channel it, and you can kind of conduct it and make it into what we call a dance. So visualize you have a dance between a man and a woman in your heart. Okay, just a masculine or feminine, whatever sort of preference that may be for you. A masculine and a feminine kind of dancing in your heart, like swirling. Visualize it like a spiraling, like some sort of salsa dance where it looks like a sacred ritual. So keep going. Listen to my voice. So we harmonized our breath. So we brought our pranic breath into what we call a deeper breath. So when we do breath of fire, notice any subtle changes. Before, when you did the breath of fire, did you feel like this constant like force, like you're trying to force the air out, or just kind of pushing, like it just felt like a hassle? Okay, that means that your prana body kind of has that pattern. It has patterns of pushing and shoving, like we're kind of gasping for air. That kind of pattern we have inside of our pranic body. But through the equalizing, through the breath we just did, you can notice that your breath of fire might be more rhythmic. Instead of your like gasping for air, like you're like, it kind of feels like you have enough rhythm, like a heartbeat. You have enough sort of pumping and receiving, pumping and kind of pulling in, pumping and pulling in to have it go. And you could feel like you're doing it for hours and still not feel like that you need to get gas for air. So really try to synchronize it like with your heartbeat. That's what I like to visualize with the prana. I want it to be synchronized with the heartbeat, because if our prana is like neurotic, our heart will get neurotic. And then what happens is our heart is actually like, it's electromagnetic currents. So it's basically, it creates these currents. It's like these electric currents. And when our prana body, it is energy, and when it's so firing in so many neurotic ways, basically that can off circuit our heart rhythm. Okay, it's like electromagnetic is our heart. And when it does that, we can get arrhythmia, heart arrhythmia. We can even have what we call that heart ache or heart pain or chest pain or even heart attack. Literally, our heart is being attacked by electromagnetic off switch. It's off circuit. And that what that does is it off circuits our entire body, because our heart is connected to our blood, is connected to our cells, and that is our blood, our cells is connected to everything. So if that sends signals of off circuit in any sort of way, what happens is our blood regulation, it gets off, and then our tissue repair gets off, our muscle function gets off, and then the entire function gets off. So think of the heart is like literally the conductor. If the conductor falls asleep, what happens? The most likely, something's not going to go right. The whole entire thing is probably, it's going to get off. Okay. So think of the prana, okay, like that diaphragm energy, as very much it's giving rhythm. Okay, it's giving rhythm to the heart. It's supporting the heart's natural rhythm. But we can actually we can get our heart's natural rhythm, like the ocean, off when we try to like impose upon it with our neurotic prana. Okay, we can literally create a totally different rhythm for a heart that's not natural. A lot of people don't have a natural heartbeat. It's that prana body has patterns of such gasping, gulping for air, that neurotic thing, or we're not getting enough air and we feel really tight, and that creates a rhythm for the heart. So you're really pressing the shoulder blades together, and you're visualizing like you're flying like a dove. Inhale through the nose. Squeeze everything. Press the tongue on the upper palate, chin tucked in. Receive from the palm of your hand. Visualize that you have electricity entering the palm of your hand, moving up your forearm, moving up your shoulder, moving into your chest. Visualize that electromagnetic current, that electromagnetic field around you, making contact with your palms. That electromagnetic current is moving through the forearm, up the arms, through the shoulders, all the way into the heart. Feel that electromagnetic current. You're picking it up from the girth. The earth sends electromagnetic current, very much like stone hens. The stones are electromagnetic. They're proven to be electromagnetic. They have currents of like electricity inside of them, that they have a voltage. Visualize you're picking up voltage from the mother earth, okay? That voltage, that high voltage is going into your palms, through the forearms, through your arms, into your shoulders, all the way into the heart. You're kind of sparking up your heart rhythm, okay? You're giving, you could say, a high voltage to your heart to support the heart's rhythm. So if you're out of volts, if your heart rhythm is out of whack in some way, if it's off the current, off circuit, the volts will like literally kind of spark it back to a natural rhythm, kind of like when you resuscitate the heart. You're kind of like pumping it back to like a natural rhythm. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Now literally slowly, like you're scooping up electromagnetic stones in your palms, and you're like picking it up. You're picking it up. Literally feel the volts at your hands. There's electromagnetic energy at the palms of your hands. Like literally you're picking it up from the ground. You're picking it up from the ground and literally feel electricity moving through your palms. Feel like a healing energy. Healing energy. Feel it, feel it, feel it. Move it towards the heart. Move it towards the heart. Slowly, slowly. Don't break the current. If you do it too fast, you're going to break it, and you're not going to be successful. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Deep inhale through the nose. Rhythmic, oceanic. Move closer, closer into the palms, are almost like mirroring each other at the heart. Closer, closer, closer. Now at the heart, you have a sphere. Visualize you have a sphere within the diamond of the throat, the navel, the two nibbles. You have a sphere. It's like a transparent white sphere, okay, of electromagnetic energy. Now open up the fingers gently and just feel that ball inside of your hand palms. What does it feel like? Feel its electromagnetic field. Feel its voltage. Feel its voltage. Do you feel it? Now you're going to say the voltage is 80%. What does that feel like? Have a sensation. What is 80% voltage at the heart chakra? Voltage in your body. What does that 80% feel like? 80% of the Earth's electromagnetic field. 80% of it activated, awakened, charged. 80%. 85%. What does that feel like? Feel it in your body. Electromagnetic current, voltage. What is 90%? Feel that 90%, 90%, 90%. Now 100% of the electromagnetic energy of Mother Earth here charged at the heart, charging at the heart. You have this power now. Feel it. What do you feel? Your eyes are closed. Okay, now open your eyes. Okay. Just look in front of you, directly in front of you, whatever is in front of you. What do you feel around you? Okay. Now inhale, you're going to clasp the hands. So kind of like a clapping or like a handshake, clapping here, clasping at the heart. So you're really pushing the electromagnetic field now into the heart, into the sternum, through pressing both of the thumbs into the sternum. And you're going to chant with me. It's going to be the last thing. Ra, 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 ma, 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 ra, 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 ma, 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 ma. Ra, 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 ma, 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 ma. ma ma ma. Ra 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 ma 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 ma. Ra 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 ma 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 ma. Ra 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 ma 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 ma. Ra 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 ma 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 ma. Ra 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 ma 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 ma. Ra 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 ma 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 ma. Ra 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 ma 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 ma. Ra 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 ma 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 ma. Ra 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 ma 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 ma. Ra 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 ma 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 ma. Ra 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 ma 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 ma. Ra 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 ma 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 ma. Ra 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 ma 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 ma. Ra 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 ma 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 ma. Ra 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 ma 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 ma. Ra 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 ma 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 ma. Ra 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 ma 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 ma. Ra 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 ma 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 ma. Ra 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 ma 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 ma. Ra 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 ma 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 ma. Ra 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 ma 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 ma. Ra 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 ma 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 ma. Inhale. Now feel it echoing through the cave. Visualize the crystal cave of your heart chamber, the diamond, the crystal cave of your heart chamber. Visualize that the mantra is echoing throughout all of the walls, through every crystal. Visualize your cave is clean now. There is not debris, there's not buildup, and that you chiseled away at the density, the weight of it. You chiseled it out, you moved it through the minerals of your thighs. Visualize like you push the minerals, the density of your heart, you push it through the thighs, and you basically dissolved it. You dissolved it through the vibrational current of Ra and Ma. You dissolved any buildup that you have, so your heart is very open instead of being like filled up with all this junk. It's very open. You may feel very like innocent, childlike after this. You may feel like a little bit vulnerable. Just understand that this is your time to kind of reflect. Use that openness in your heart to not go to a rock concert or go to the bar, because that's just going to make your heart feel a little achy. Okay, it's your time to really be gentle. Maybe go to the beach or go to nature, or go to the lake, or do something where your heart can receive beauty, genuine, sincere beauty. So not the bar, not a loud rap concert. That's going to really trigger your heart in a way that may not be comfortable for you to handle if you're not strong enough to handle that kind of aggression on the heart chakra. Okay, so allow it to echo throughout the cave of your heart, the crystal cave where you're growing rose quartz. Rose quartz, okay, this is your rose quartz cave inside of your heart. It's big and ginormous, and you really chiseled, you dissolved any of the buildup that was like literally blocking the entrance to this cave and like filling it up with all this junk that you don't need. Now you're an open channel. Now the wind of, could say the ocean wind, can pass through this cave, and it doesn't get caught or stuck by all the debris. It's open. The cave is open. Going is so like such cooling air. Okay, when the heart is too built up, it's like hot in a way that shouldn't be hot. It's almost like hot as in like, whoa, like a dry, nasty hot. That cave is not supposed to be hot. It's supposed to be lubricated. It's supposed to be moist. And it's supposed to be cool. Okay, it's like moist and cool. That's your heart chamber. It's very moist, like morning dew, but yet it's very cooling. Your heart is very cooling. Your heart, the function, your actual heart, it creates already so much heat. So you don't need all excess heat of emotional buildup to make your heart on fire. You don't want your heart to be fire in the way that it's like a dry heat that's just, it's kind of just too much. It's a dry heat. No, we want it to be a cooling, like a dew. Very much like a candle holder, consolidating the flame so the flame doesn't get too hot and it bursts through and sets things on fire. It's a consolidated, controlled flame. Okay, inhale, exhale. Okay, and there you go. That was a yogic set for the heart. Like I said, this is a time you're probably going to want to be introverted. You're probably going to want to kind of just be tender and soft with yourself. So I do not recommend just go jumping into your car and listening to like loud music of like rap songs or something. To like really just maybe relax and listen to like, you know, just some cool jazz stuff. Okay, something that's very tender and something that's very soulful for your heart. That's going to really help to kind of support this new electromagnetic circuits kind of alignment rhythm that we created. Okay, so Satnam.